Let's walk through the process of making a section for a bespoke fountain pen. At the end of this video, I will provide you with a link to a PDF containing all of the tools needed to do bespoke pen turning. Start by selecting a machinable rod of material. Wood is not a good choice as it does not hold threads well, and it also breathes, which will allow the ink in your fountain pen to dry out. If you do want to use wood, I recommend making sleeves out of machinable material for the body and the cap of your fountain pen, as well as making threaded inserts that can be epoxied into the wood to allow for the threading of the cap to the body.
Start by truing your blank. Even if the blank is round, true it. Molds are not perfectly symmetrical, and you need the blank to turn true or it will not line up properly after turning. Grip the blank in a collet chuck. Square the end of the blank and mark it to a length of 31.77 millimeters. Bring your tailstock up for support and part the piece off from the main blank.
Rechuck the parted off piece. Mark it at 7.89 millimeters, roughly 5/16 of an inch from the end of the blank, and from that point, turn a tenon on the blank to 10 millimeters in diameter, the full length of the marked area. For cutting your 10 millimeter tenon, you can use calipers, or a quick trick is to use a 10 millimeter box wrench to size the tenon perfectly every time. Grind the short side of the box wrench to form a cutting edge. Turn your tenon to somewhere between 10.5 to 11 millimeters, and then place the box wrench onto your tool rest with the long edge underneath of the blank. Giving a little downward pressure, push it into the tenon, and the cutting edge will cut the tenon to a perfect 10 millimeter diameter. Once your tenon is cut to 10 millimeters, place a relief on the back of the tenon. This will keep the section from fitting so tightly into the body blank that it becomes difficult to remove and can damage the section. On the front of the tenon, place a chamfer. This chamfer will make it easier to start the die for cutting threads on the tenon. To cut cost, I use a standard die wrench to hold the die and thread my tenon. We'll use an M10-1 die for cutting the proper threads on our tenon. Place your live center in your tailstock and use it to hold the die wrench and die squarely against your tenon. Use mineral oil or WD-40 to lubricate the tenon and give a cleaner cut with the die. Twist the die onto the tenon all the way to the shoulder to cut the threads. Then reverse the die and run it up the threads one additional time to clean them up. Using a 7 millimeter drill bit, drill a hole completely through the section blank. If you're nervous about drilling through the thin-walled tenon, you can make a 10 millimeter threaded collar to apply to the tenon prior to drilling the hole. You can make a section mandrel out of a scrap piece of acrylic material. Turn the mandrel down to 3/4 of an inch so that it fits nicely in your collet chuck. Then turn down a 12 millimeter tenon on one end of the mandrel. Using an S-bit, drill a hole into the end of your blank and tap it with an M10-1 tap. Place the section into the mandrel and with an end bit, drill 14.74 millimeters into the blank. Using an R-bit, drill 2.4 millimeters into the blank. The tap that you use will be dependent on the specific fountain pen housing that you select. I'm using a Yowo number 6 tap, which is an M7.4 by 0.5 tap. Tap 6.350 millimeters into the section blank. Do not exceed 7.90 millimeters. Use mineral oil or some other lubricant to make tapping cleaner and reduce the wear on your tap. It will stay sharp longer. Clean out any chips or lubricant from the section and test fit your fountain pen nib, making sure it seats slightly below the surface of the section. True your section to roughly 12 millimeters. Using the cap from another bespoke pen, test to ensure your section fits nicely within the cap. Shape your section into a pleasing form. Sand, micromesh, and polish your section to remove all scratches and give it a nice shine. This concludes the instructions for making a section for a bespoke fountain pen. If you would like a listing of all the tools required to make bespoke fountain pens, please look in the description for this video, and there will be a link to a Google Drive with a PDF containing links to all tools required to turn bespoke pins. Thank you for watching, and as always, you are always welcome in my shop.